Today is day one of my mini project. So yeah, I've got some wood and I have no clue what I'm doing. Renting the house usually doesn't come with a garage, especially in the UK, but this time I kind of got lucky, so I decided to get myself busy with something and try something new. I watched like a bunch of videos and got weirdly obsessed with the idea of creating a bed frame. Just a relatively simple project. It's just a box in my imagination, but also kind of handy because I never had a bed frame. We sleep on a massive mattress, but it kind of looks ugly.
Right, so the first day was a mixture of cleaning the space up and organizing the wood that I bought. I prepared for cutting and also ensured the wood is stacked on my plastic garden box with some additional support. It is a big no-no to keep it in the concrete floor or to leave parts of it hanging, since this can promote the wood movement. Also, before I started filming, I left the wood in the garage for a few days so it can get used to the new environment and the humidity. And it basically was one of the advices that I found when preparing for this project. It's not noticeable on the video, but this is actually day 2 of the project, and here I, for the first time in my life, started to use a circle, so after following a lot of safety advice, of course.
Today is day 3 actually of my little project of building a bed frame. Yesterday I've cut the pieces into like proper lengths and stuff, making sure that the angle is fine and didn't damage the wood too much. So yeah, that's like not the worst outcome, I would say. Today I'm going to figure out how to actually connect the main sides of the bed frame, so there will be essentially the left and right side connected to the back side of the bed, and then the wall, the side by the wall will be connected slightly differently. But the most complex part, where I'm trying to try something from the proper joinery, so to speak, will be what I'm going to do now. We'll see how it goes. To be fair, I don't have experience, never done anything like it before. Maybe something in school, but yeah, not at that level, and nothing that I can say I'm great at doing. So that will be fun. Hopefully I will not ruin the wood completely and it will still be usable, but if not, well, at least I've tried, right? Let's see how that goes. I need to cut one piece in this shape like that, and then the other side will be cut like this. So I'm going to start with this one. I'm thinking of connecting this piece of wood, cutting this side. This will be the outer side of the bed frame, so this will be visible, and this one will be right side and the other one will be left side. So I also don't have proper clamps. However, I found one of these in the garage just randomly. So here is the clamp, probably from some kind of old lamp or something, and that got me inspired. And I've got one of these from my IKEA desk lamp, and to be fair, for what I need, it does the job, I think. It will definitely hold it in place, and it doesn't seem to damage the wood because I've tested it. I'm gonna need to make this lamp 25 millimeters in length, and then 12 millimeters on the edge, and then alright. the longer part, which is next to the base, will be 30 millimeters. 75. This piece of wood actually goes at the back of the bed, will stand against the wall. It's slightly lower. And I was meant to be working with the piece of wood that is 100 millimeters long. And that's why my measurements just now did not adapt to what I expected. That's classic me, basically. I'm glad that I found that before I made any cuts. Obviously measure once, cut 50 times, and good luck with it. And this is the actual piece of wood I need.
It wasn't.
And I need the shortest of them all, which is going to go at the back of the bed. Not against the wall, at the other back of the bed. I'm great at terminology like that. This looks nice, it's got some features, knots as well. Ooh, this one looks like it went through the wall. So that suggests that maybe this can be the inside. And with this one, I think it will be more interesting to have this visible than the other side. Kind of like the idea of this being towards the top and this one sitting on the ground, or on the floor rather, because yeah, there are floors in the houses. Attempt number 2. This time with a proper piece of wood that I actually meant to be cutting, or at least was planning to. Jesus, I hope I will cut all of this mumbling from the final video, if I will make one. But if not, well, I don't envy you, listener. The wobbly table, but not the wobbly board on the table. I guess that's a success. Okay, let me just double check the measurements, just in case. This is where my hand sewing skills really shine. Because I've completely ruined this angle. Do you know what? I actually managed to straighten the angle. Look at this. Perfect. Now I can mark 30 millimeter. Also, even though they're called 10 centimeter, they're actually not 10 centimeter. And guess what? I didn't really account for that. 93 divided by 3 parts. I could still go with 30 and 30, and that will give me 3.3 in the middle. I could also go, oh, that's not bad, is it? Like that, right? Or shall I go 2.5 and 2.5 instead? That gives extra centimeter. Yeah, you know what? I like how it looks. It's not exact 10 centimeters as I expected, which is kind of my fault because I didn't consider that when buying the planed and squared wood, it will not be exactly 2 measurements. So the actual measurement is 93 millimeters, and I wouldn't say I'm like disappointed or anything. So that's great. Great stuff. Great achievement. Well done, everyone. But that means I have to redo all of my calculations to the actual measurements. Because what I want to do, I want to have slats. So basically, onto the side walls, I will connect 50mm wide piece. Talking about 50mm wide, is it 50mm? Well, that's great. It's not. It's also 43mm, so that's perfect. Great. So yeah, I want to connect this. Then I want to put slats like this, and I want to put one of these wonderful pieces like that. This will be back of the wall. These will be sides. This one is the support, and this will be slats. And what I want is the back of the wall. Nice cut. I want the back of the wall to match exactly. And you know what? Despite all of my blunders, I actually managed to get it right. That's wonderful, because this will essentially where the mattress will lie. This will be an extra height that I want it to have, so it won't move over time. Then I will also have the additional top cover, which will not stick out like this, it will stick out on the other side. So this will be the total height for the mattress to kind of sit in. It's quite a high mattress that I'm trying to accommodate for, and I don't want it to move from the wall because that's annoying. And that stuff will work, will do. Very nice. I'm super glad I don't have to, like, even with the changed numbers, I still can continue with my original plan. That's wonderful. I probably gonna mess up somewhere. One of the nice pieces of advice that I've got from amazing, wonderful YouTube videos that I found on the subject is to try and cut the fibers where the line will go. This will improve the quality of the cut when I work with the chisel. Okay, so here's the trouble. I thought that I can continue with original plan, but take into account the new measurements, and one of the measurements that I didn't took into account is that this will be connected at a 90 degrees angle to another piece of wood. So the thickness of that piece of wood has also changed opposed to my expectations. So instead of being 25mm in width, it is actually 21mm. Now I have two options. I can either like redo my measurements. Shame I've got some of the cuts on the wood from this blade I've used earlier, but that's fine, that's not a biggie. I guess the problem with this adjustment is that potentially I will either create too much space for the mattress, which may be not that bad because, I mean, 4mm on each side, it's like roughly about, well, not roughly, it's 8mm extra. And for the mattress, I mean, it's not made of wood or stone. It will definitely take this extra space happily. So I'm inclined to maybe do this that way. Alternatively, I could do it this way and just cut off the extra material that sticks out. That's not a bad approach, I think, but then I'm worried that I'm not taking into account one of the dimensions in the project again. So maybe it's time to go back to SketchUp. Yeah, I think I shall do that. And I also need to get the eraser from the house. So I mean, that's a nice, great next step, right? Let's go. And this is not a bad frame. think I'm kind of on day 4 of my little project, and day 3 ended up not as I expected. So last time I figured that all my measurements are a bit off because I've used the nominal values for the timber, whilst in fact, because the timber is planed and squared, has nice soft sides to it, it means it doesn't have exact measurements as I've seen on my build, which is fair enough. The problem is my model was based on exact measurements, and therefore I originally thought that it might be quite easy to adjust the course without changing the model and just continue as I originally planned. That didn't work out because some of the elements and how they were joined together were based on the assumption that each of these pieces of wood will have certain thickness, I think of 25 millimeters, whilst in fact all of them have 20 millimeter thickness. So that was that. I had to come back to SketchUp and make some adjustments to accommodate for that. And to be fair, there weren't many changes. I needed to cut a couple of pieces of wood to accommodate for narrower timber pieces, but at the end of the day, it was like 12 millimeters to cut in length on just a couple of pieces. But I had to take my circular saw out again to do the cutting, and as a matter of fact, I've failed a little bit to cut one particular piece of wood that is that was going to be at the back of the bed, on the side that is not next to the wall but the other side opposite that, and that was cut short by 4 millimeters, so it would be quite significant. And because I'm trying to do the dovetail joint on that piece of wood, it would be very noticeable.
Okay, some context from yesterday.
I also come up with this little kit. Initially it was used to help me to cut the pieces with the circular saw. It was on the other side and arranged slightly differently, basically just to allow enough space to place one piece of wood, avoid movement, and also ensure 90 degrees angle. Obviously it was there before, but anyway, it's all rearranged now. But it allowed me to hold the circular saw with 2 hands, which is perfect and made my work so much more faster and convenient. And it's also safer to hold it with both hands. And at the same time making sure that I'm not like going sideways, but unfortunately the first cut I did, I didn't arrange my pieces very carefully, and that's why these 4 millimeters were cut. And I couldn't come up with the way how to kind of hide it, or maybe resolve that without any drastic changes to the plan. So I decided to instead cut a little bit more, so it's more convenient to work with, and try and join it with a dovetail join to another piece of wood with a similar width and thickness, of course. So this is that other bit, which once I join with the longer part will form exactly the length that I need. And I've started to cut the dovetails yesterday, and I'm quite rubbish at this because obviously this project is a bit of a stretch goal and a little bit of a new challenge for me. I know that I'm gonna make mistakes and obviously gonna fail. This one is probably the biggest failure by far, because surprisingly working with a circular saw was quite alright. It wasn't horrendous, and I've managed to cut everything fine except for that one piece, which reduced the overall length by 4 millimeters, too short for my liking or my needs. So instead I'm doing this approach here, and this will be joining another longer piece of wood. I'm nearly there with like hand sawing. I actually use pretty bad hand saw. If you look at it, it's not even straight. Yeah, I didn't think about that, and now it's like Christmas time, so I can't really order proper tools even if I wanted to, but let's add that to the challenge as well, right? Other than that, it's not so bad, and I still think if I will be very careful with the chisels, I might actually get to the lines without making too many mistakes, I hope. And also I will use this as a template for the actual joint on the other end, so that should increase my chances to make it more accurate when it's actually joined.
Okay, I think it's a good place to stop the video for the time being, and so I can publish it and work on the next part. But if you happen to come across it, tell me what you think, and obviously if you liked it, put a like on it, subscribe, and yeah, see you in the next one. Cheers, bye.